Hey, friend, can I ask you a question? Have you ever had one of those moments where obviously nothing happened, but somehow you ended up questioning everything? Maybe you sent a text and immediately started wondering if it sounded wrong. Maybe someone posted a picture and everybody else saw a fun memory while you zoomed in on whatever your brain decided to criticize about yourself that day. Maybe you walked into a room full of people and suddenly became aware of everything, or maybe whether anyone would notice if you weren't there at all. Funny how quickly our minds can go there, isn't it? 1 minute you're fine. The next minute you're replaying conversations, comparing yourself, and wondering why everyone else seems to have life figured out. Spoiler alert, they don't. They're just better at hiding their insecurities. The truth is, insecurity has terrible timing. It doesn't show up when you're sitting at home in your pajamas watching TV. No. It shows up when you're about to do something important, when you're about to be seen. And if we're being honest, insecurity doesn't magically disappear with age either. I wish it did. I wish there was a birthday where someone handed us a certificate and said, "Congratulations, you're now permanently confident and you'll never question yourself again." I would frame that thing and hang it right next to my wedding photos. But life doesn't work that way. At 20, insecurity might sound like, do they like me? Do I fit in? Am I pretty enough? And as you get older, I'm 51, it sounds more like, am I still relevant? What's my purpose? Am I making an impact? Is it too late for that thing I've always wanted to do? And somewhere in the middle of all of those questions, we can start believing that insecurity means something is wrong with us. But it doesn't. Insecurity is a feeling, a signal. It's not a verdict. So today we're going to talk about insecurity. Not so we can get rid of it forever, but so we can understand what it's trying to tell us and learn how to move through it. Because if insecurity has been visiting you lately, I want you to know something right from the start. You're not alone, and that's okay. Welcome to And That's Okay, the podcast that empowers you to master your emotional world. I'm Lisa Renee Scott, your host and a passionate believer that every feeling is a signal and every signal holds power. In a world that often tells us to ignore or dismiss our emotions, I'm here to remind you that whatever you're feeling, it's for a reason, and that's okay. Let's be honest. Insecurity is exhausting. Not because of the feeling itself, but because of everything we do because of the feeling. It's the second guessing, overthinking, comparing, and replaying conversations in our head while we're trying to fall asleep. It's answering a question and then spending the next 2 hours wondering if it sounded ridiculous. It's walking into a room and assuming everybody notices all your flaws when most people are busy worrying about their own. And here's what I've noticed. Insecurity changes as life changes. When we're younger, we worry about fitting in. And as we get older, we start wondering where we fit in now. Our kids grow up, our parents get older, friendships shift, careers change, retirement gets closer, and our bodies start doing things we definitely did not approve in writing. And somewhere in the middle of all of those changes, insecurity finds a new place to settle in. Maybe lately you've felt critical of what you see in the mirror, wondering whether you're doing enough, questioning your impact, or compared your chapter 3 to somebody else's chapter 20. Whatever that looks like for you, I want you to hear this. Insecurity isn't the problem. The problem is when insecurity starts making decisions. When it talks you out of speaking up, trying new things, or believing that there's room for you too. That's when insecurity stops being information and starts becoming a roadblock. Let's start by naming it. I think one of the reasons insecurity gets so much power is because we don't always call it what it is. Instead, we say things like, I'm just tired. I'm just having a bad day. I'm fine. Meanwhile, we're questioning ourselves at every turn. Maybe you've been comparing yourself, looking for reassurance, struggling with changes in your body or your role, or wondering if you're enough as a spouse, a parent, a caregiver, friend, leader, or person. If any of that sounds familiar, don't rush past this. Just name it. I'm feeling insecure, and that's okay. Because once you name a feeling, it stops running the show from behind the curtain. You can actually begin working with it instead of being controlled by it. Now let's claim it. And no, I don't mean building insecurity its own guest room and letting it move in permanently. I mean getting curious about it. Instead of judging yourself for feeling insecure, start asking questions. Ask, what exactly am I insecure about? When did it start? What's triggering it? Whose opinion am I giving power to? What story am I telling myself? Because most insecurities don't appear out of nowhere. They're usually connected to something: an old criticism, disappointment, comparison, a conversation, or belief that unpacked its bags and never left. And here's the thing. Most of us were never taught how to deal with our feelings. We were taught to push through, get over it, toughen up, and keep going. So instead of understanding our feelings, we learn to ignore them. But ignored feelings don't disappear. They get louder. Sometimes insecurity has less to do with who you are and more to do with what you've experienced. And understanding that distinction is powerful. Because if you don't understand where it's coming from, you'll spend all your energy fighting the feeling instead of understanding the message. Can I pause here? Some of you aren't just feeling insecure. You're frustrated that you're feeling insecure. You think you should be past this by now, more confident, more certain, more settled. But life keeps changing, and every new season asks something different of us. So if you've been questioning yourself, comparing yourself, or wondering whether you're enough, please don't do what you used to do. Don't dismiss it, shove it down, or criticize yourself for having the feeling. Acknowledge it, because feelings are signals, and this one might be pointing towards something that needs your attention, your compassion, or your healing. So now that we've named it and claimed it, let's talk about how to navigate it. Because insecurity isn't something you eliminate once and then never deal with again. It's something you learn to recognize, understand, and move through every time it shows up. Here are 5 practical ways to move through it when it gets loud. 1. Get specific about what you are actually feeling. One of the fastest ways to give insecurity more power is to keep it vague. We say, I'm insecure. Okay, but insecure about what? The more vague the feeling is, the bigger it tends to feel. So here's what I want you to do. Grab a notebook or open your notes app and finish this sentence. Right now, I'm feeling insecure about, and then keep writing until you uncover the real fear underneath. Because often insecurity isn't the problem. The fear underneath it is. The fear of rejection, the fear of failure, aging, not mattering, being judged. When you identify the real issue, you stop fighting a fog and start addressing something very specific. And specific problems are much easier to work through than vague ones. Number 2, separate facts from stories. This one is huge because insecurity involves filling in blanks. And unfortunately, it fills them in with worst case scenarios. Someone doesn't text back. A friend gets an opportunity. Or you walk into a room where you don't know anyone, and insecurity fills in the blanks with the worst case stories. But here's the question. How much of that is fact? And how much of that is a story? Try this exercise. Draw a line down the middle of the page, and on one side write facts and on the other stories. Then start sorting. Fact: she got promoted. Story: I'm failing. Fact: They haven't called me back. Story. They don't value me. Facts are things you know. Stories are things you are assuming. And when you separate the two, you create this huge room of clarity. And clarity often turns the volume down in insecurity. Number 3, stop measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel. This is huge. In a world of social media, this is where we are. This one is hard because comparison is everywhere. You can have a perfectly good day, then you open social media, 5 minutes later you're questioning your career, your body, your relationships, your retirement plan, and whether you should apparently be making homemade sourdough bread. Comparison has a way of making us forget everything we have accomplished. So when you catch yourself comparing, pause. Instead of focusing on them, bring the focus back to you. Ask, am I moving in the direction that I want to go? Not, am I as far along as they are? Direction matters more than speed. Your journey isn't supposed to look like theirs. You don't know what they've struggled through, sacrificed, or what happens behind their scenes. A practice I love is comparing myself to myself by asking, where was I a year ago? What have I learned? How have I grown? What am I doing today that I couldn't do before? That's a comparison that actually serves you, because growth isn't measured by someone else's timeline. It's measured by your own progress. Number 4, challenge the way you speak to yourself. I want you to pay attention to your inner dialogue this week, because many people are carrying around an inner critic that would have never survived a friendship. I'm going to say that again. Many people are carrying around an inner critic that wouldn't have survived a friendship. Think about some of the things you say to yourself. You're too old. You're not smart enough. You'll probably fail. No one cares what you think. You're fat. Now imagine your best friend called and said those exact things to herself. Would you agree? Of course not. You'd probably start listing all the reasons she's wrong. So here's the challenge. Next time you catch yourself in a critical thought, write it down and ask, would I say this to someone I love? If the answer is no, rewrite it with truth, not false positivity. There's a difference. Instead of writing, I'm terrible at this, try, I'm still learning this. Instead of, I'll never figure this out, try, I haven't figured it out yet. The goal isn't to become your biggest cheerleader overnight. The goal is to stop being your biggest bully. Because criticism rarely creates growth. Truth does. Number 5, take one small courageous step. This may be the most important step of all because insecurity loves waiting. It says, wait until you become more confident, more prepared, more qualified, more certain. The problem is that confidence rarely arrives before action. Think about learning to drive, starting a new job, becoming a parent, or beginning a fitness routine. None of us felt confident on day one. Confidence comes after doing the thing, not before. So ask yourself, what has this insecurity been talking me out of? Maybe it's posting the video, making a phone call, joining a class, starting a new project, applying for that opportunity, or having a conversation. Pick one, then shrink it down until it feels manageable. Not the entire project, just the first step. Small action creates evidence. And evidence creates confidence. And every time you take action, despite insecurity, you're teaching yourself, I can feel uncomfortable and still move forward. That lesson builds trust in yourself, one step at a time. Before we go, I want you to remember one thing. Insecurity is a feeling, not your identity. Just because insecurity shows up doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're failing or not enough. It simply means that there's something asking for your attention. So this week, when insecurity starts whispering in your ear, pause. Name it, claim it, navigate it. Don't let it make your decisions, convince you to stay small, or talk you out of something that matters to you. You don't need to have everything figured out to feel completely confident. You just need to take the next step. One conversation, one decision, one courageous action. Because confidence isn't built by waiting. It's built by moving forward. And every time you do, you're reminding yourself that insecurity may have a voice, but it doesn't get the final word. And that's okay. Thanks for tuning into this episode of And That's Okay. I hope our conversations left you feeling validated, empowered, and equipped with the practical steps to name it, claim it, navigate it in your own life. If you found value in today's message, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear that their feelings are valid too. And if you're ready to dive deeper into transforming your emotional landscape, you'll definitely want to grab a copy of my book, And That's Okay. It's available on Amazon or through my website. Just check the link in my bio or the captions of this episode. For daily inspiration, reflections, and more tools to support your growth, come connect with me on social media. I'd love to hear how you're applying the Name It, Claim It, Navigate It framework in your own life. Before we wrap up, a quick reminder, I'm not a licensed doctor or a therapist. I'm simply sharing experiences and insights that have helped me and countless others along the way. My mission is to empower you with tools, not replace professional medical advice. Remember, whatever you're feeling or going through, you have feelings, and that's okay.